Okay, moved by Councillor Keogh, second by Councillor Ruff. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson Superior Treaty area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the community of Bigdigon Nishnawbe and Nemazagamic Nishnawbe First Nations. We wish to recognize a long history of First Nation and Métis people in our region specifically and show respect to them today. All in favor? Carried. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There is one deletion to agenda item number 15-02.
Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof?
There is one disclosure declaration form, member of council Cody Keogh, council meeting date May 7th, 2025. Open session. I declare a pecuniary interest on agenda item, open session item number 12-02 of the agenda for the above noted meeting for the following reason. Asia Keogh is my daughter.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ruff, second by Councillor Kodak. Resolved that the agenda be approved as amended. All in favor? Carried. Okay, delegations and presentations. Okay, so we start off. Fire service, long service medals to be presented on behalf of the Office of the Fire Marshal. Start with this, right? Okay, the Ontario Fire Services Long Service Medals recognize and celebrate those who have achieved a minimum of 25 years of service as a full-time or volunteer firefighter with a fire department in the province of Ontario. These members have demonstrated unwavering dedication to emergency services and public safety, and their courage makes our community safer every day. So I'd ask Chief Portugal to come up. Okay, we have pictures. Yeah. Okay, on behalf of the Office of the Fire Marshal of Ontario, we would like to recognize and honor Fire Chief Ian Portugal for 30 years of service. Good. Okay, now I'd like to ask Gary Abbott to come up. Okay, on behalf of the Office of the Fire Marshal of Ontario, we'd like to recognize and honor Gary Abbott for 25 years of service. I'd ask Chief Portugal to come back to accept on behalf of Mr. Dan Martin. Okay, on behalf of the Office of the Fire Marshal of Ontario, we would like to recognize and honor Danielle Martin for 25 years of service. Yeah, sure. Firefighters. Yeah.
Do that. We wanted to do it right here. Yeah.
Sure. That's, yeah.
We get all the firefighters come on.
That's why for everybody to find.
On the other side too. We'll just surround there. We'll just surround there.
I usually stand up here.
How do we look, Chelsea?
I think we got the.
Okay, everybody suck in again.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
It's either go away or hugs, right? Oh, that's working. Yeah. I got a little, these are. See how many of them stayed on the back.
Here, she's back there. Okay, our second presentation is a presentation from Charla Napton, Account Manager, Municipal and Stakeholder Relations with the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC, regarding MPAC 101. Welcome.
Thank you.
I don't, is there a light on the top?
It should, yeah, it should be on. I just need to bring it a little bit closer. Is this better?
No?
No. The green light. Yeah, that should be good. You just need to speak into it. Hello? Are the speakers on? Yeah.
Has to be 1, 2, 3. Are they?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think
Because I was tapping it earlier and I wasn't getting any sound, so.
Yeah, I checked in the back. They were on.
I can yell, I have kids.
Are you waiting for this or no? They're on?
Yeah. Okay, just speak loudly, I guess.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and councillors, and thank you for having me here tonight. As Mayor said, my name is Charla Napton, and I'm an account manager with the Municipal and Stakeholder Relations Branch at the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, or MPAC for short. I know I've had an opportunity to meet all of you through conferences, and I know we've had a training session when you were first elected. But I'm just here today to give you a quick overview again of MPAC, what we do, and where we fit into the property assessment and taxation process. I know property taxes are a topic of discussion amongst your constituents and the council table, especially around budget times. So I just want to provide you a bit of information for you and any residents that may be watching tonight. When it comes to property assessment and taxation in Ontario, there are 4 key players. The provincial government, specifically the Ministry of Finance, is responsible for setting assessment and taxation legislation as well as policies. The province also sets the education property tax rates, which you put on your municipal bills. The Assessment Review Board, which adjudicates appeals of MPAC's assessed values, also falls under the jurisdiction of the province. MPAC is an independent, not-for-profit corporation funded by all Ontario municipalities. Our role is to accurately assess and classify more than 5.5 million properties across Ontario. We do this in compliance with the Assessment Act and regulations set by the Government of Ontario. We are accountable to the province, municipalities, and property taxpayers of Ontario through a board of directors that is comprised of provincial, municipal, and taxpayer representatives appointed by the Minister of Finance. Municipalities determine their budget requirements, what is needed for programs and services. They also set the tax rates and collect property taxes to pay for these services and programs. They use our assessments and the established tax rates to distribute their tax requirements to ratepayers. And finally, the property owners pay the property tax bill and help set market value through ongoing property purchases and sales. MPAC is responsible for delivering an assessment roll every year to municipalities and the province of Ontario. Every municipality uses our assessments to make informed decisions about their community, including the distribution of property taxes. Ontario's property tax system and these assessments generate approximately 30 billion in tax revenue annually. Maintaining Ontario's property database is very important so that municipal records are accurate when you are making important tax decisions. We do this by supporting property owners and municipalities through monitoring sales trends, processing severances and consolidations, responding to vacancies in tax applications, addressing requests for reconsiderations and appeals, and inspecting and assessing new construction, additions, and renovations to property. Monitoring the market and assessing newly built and renovated properties are things we do every day to keep our property data current. MPAC updates property information on an ongoing basis as a result of building permits, sales, requests for reconsiderations, appeals, tax applications, and property reviews. We also periodically update every single property assessment in Ontario based on the same legislative valuation date. We call this an assessment update or a reassessment. This date is set by the Ontario government. The valuation date for the most recent assessment update, which took effect in 2017, was January 1st, 2016. This is when we determined what every single property in Ontario could have reasonably sold for in its current state and condition at a particular point in time. As you're all aware, the Ontario government is conducting a review of the property assessment and taxation system and has committed to pausing on a province-wide assessment update until that review concludes. So that means currently all properties will continue to be assessed with a January 1st, 2016 date until the review is complete. The review will focus on a system-level review of fairness, affordability, and impact of property taxes on business competitiveness. As we work with the province throughout this review, we are focused on reaffirming the importance of regular assessments, improving the exchange of information with our municipal partners, and building enhanced products and services that meet the needs of our partners and the communities we serve. Now let's chat about current value assessment. Ontario's property tax system is based on everyone paying their portion of what it costs to deliver community services. To do this, all properties are assigned a value at a common valuation date. This is a principle called current value assessment. Current value assessment is the market value at a point in time. It's the price a property might reasonably sell for if sold by a willing seller to a willing buyer after appropriate time and exposure on an open market. As the review is underway, all property values in Ontario will continue to have a current value assessment based on a January 1st, 2016 date. So today, even if a home sold for $150,000, it might only be valued at $75,000, depending on what the value was in 2016. So every home, whether it's built or new garage built, a new house built, is valued at a 2016 date for the assessment roll. I just want to go over quickly how we assess residential properties and options for your residents, as I know that's who you might hear from regarding taxes and assessment the most. When valuing residential properties and vacant land, we use the direct comparison approach. With this approach, we analyze sales of comparable properties that were sold for a similar or identical use as the property to be valued, to provide an indication of value. It is also important to note that only open market transactions are used in this analysis. When we're looking at the valuation of a residential home, although our analysis tool considers over 200 factors, there are 5 main factors that make up approximately 85% of a typical home's value. These include the age of a property, which gets adjusted for any major rentals or additions that have occurred, the location, is it waterfront, is it rural, is it urban, the quality of construction, exterior square footage, and lot dimensions. After we assess a property or change an assessment, we mail the property owner a property assessment notice. Sometimes property owners do not agree with our assessed value. A property owner might connect with you to let you know that they disagree with our assessment. And it's important to remember that property assessments are not taxation. If you get an inquiry from a property owner, you can help us by asking the property owner a few questions. Could they have sold their property on January 1st, 2016 for the assessed value? Have they visited About My Property to review the information that MPAC has on their property to ensure that it's correct? Have they also visited About My Property to compare values in the neighborhood? If a property owner still disagrees with their assessments, they have the option to file a request for reconsideration. Going on About My Property and filing it online is the quickest way, but there's also paper options if they want to call the customer contact center. Now let's spend a moment to address the relationship between property taxes and assessment. Assessments distribute taxes. They do not determine the taxes paid. The overall amount municipalities must collect in taxes is based on how much you need to spend for your services, and impacts assessments help you distribute that amount. For example, let's pretend you have a town with one house. That house is worth $50,000, and you need to raise $3,500 to run the services for the town. You would tax that $50,000 house at 7% to raise that $3,500 you need. You might have another town somewhere that also needs $3,500 to run the services for the town, but their assessed value might be $100,000 for that one house in the town. So that town would tax their residents 3.5% to get that $3,500. So it's basically the same amount each town needs to raise, but the tax rate is different based on the difference in the assessment. Now, we do have a video that we've shared online, and it's on our website, that we're trying to get the message out to property owners about how property tax is calculated. And Jolene's going to play that for us.
Property taxes are paid.
Buffering.
So we know there is concern amongst the general public. You know, they think that, their property taxes will go up the same rate that the sales have gone up, over the past few years. I mean, it's been almost 9 years since we've had an assessment update. So we just want to try to, bust that myth that their property taxes are going to go up the same rate that their sales tax go up. So even using like the $50,000 house scenario, let's say that doubles in value for the next assessment update. Well, you by regulation have to adjust your tax rates. You can't, you can't still tax at the same tax rate. So that $3,500 that you would need to raise, if the value goes up to $100,000, you would tax at 3.5% instead of 7%. Again, there's lots of different factors. I'm just using simple math in one house example. So don't everybody complain and think that factor is not going up. Costs for the retro municipality also goes up, right? So that's gonna affect things as well. So like I said, we have the video that we have. We've been communicating with property owners and Ontarians more than ever. We want them to understand about property assessment and taxation. We have the new homeowners hub. We leave door hangers. We have a lot of social media campaigns going on. We're trying to direct everybody to About My Property and to the Impact website, just to learn more about it. So we do have, like I said, we have it on social media. And going to the next slide, just in regards to how we support municipalities. We have conferences, we have regular meetings with your administration. We have our In Touch newsletter, but we also have a municipal resources page. So there are some things that you can share on social media. There's buck slips that you can put in tax billings. So different things that you can do to help get that word around out as well. As we're working up to an assessment update, whenever that happens, we don't know what that date will be. We're waiting for the Ontario government to announce that. We can work together and get that message out to property owners. Now you're assessment experts.
Okay,
Any questions?
any questions?
Through the chair. I know that, as you just said, we don't know when the new date will be for this. And originally, the reason given 4 years ago was COVID. They couldn't go into homes, such things. Have they given a reason why they still haven't done anything? Has the government given a reason?
We're conducting a review of the assessment taxation system. So I believe they announced that at EMO last year. Was it 2024? They did announce that at EMO that they're conducting a review of the system. So until that review is complete, they're not going to announce anything. And we don't know when that review will be completed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I have one. Just for curiosity, when the house is, okay, let's take, someone builds a garage. Okay, building permit, and know their taxes are going up. The garage is worth, say, $100,000. In today's market to build. Now, how is that calculated? When it comes to their assessed value, does it go as per in 2016? It would have cost $10,000 to build that garage?
Correct. Everything is valued at 2016 values. It has to be the same all across Ontario so that there's quality, right? So you can't have somebody that builds a new house valued at their new house price of $300,000 and somebody with a $50,000 house. That's not, doesn't make it fair. So that brand new house will be valued at a brand new house price in 2016. So every property in Ontario has a 2016 value right now.
Okay, so people don't have to worry about building your garage because it'll only up their assessed value at about 10,000.
Correct.
Roughly. Okay,
And we hear that often from some, people that build a house or even from municipalities. They'll say, hey, I know this person built a house and it cost them this much, or the building permits came to this much. Why is it only assessed at this amount? Because it's a 2016 value that we have to put on it by regulation by the Ontario government.
so in order to get that assessment, do you have a formula that you work backwards with? Is that how that?
It's all in our system.
Okay, all right. Okay,
We've got models, computers.
okay, thank you very much. If there's no other questions. Okay, moved by Councillor Kotick, seconded by Councillor Keogh, resolved that council has been provided a presentation from the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation regarding the MPAC 101, and further that council thanks Charlotte Captain for her presentation. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, adoption of the minutes. Moved by Counselor Keel, second by Counselor Kodak, resolved that the minutes of the Special Committee of Adjustment meeting held April 9th, 2025 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Rupp, seconded by Counselor Kodak, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held April 9th, 2025 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay, correspondence. Resolved that correspondence item 08-01 to 08-02 be received and filed. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Very now. Reports and committees. Moved by Counselor Rupp, second by Counselor Kodak, resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Board of Health held March 19th, 2025 be accepted as received. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Maybe I'll vote it down. Okay, first of all, I want to welcome Brian Baker to the team. Welcome, Brian. Brian hails from the beautiful province of Newfoundland. He has many years of experience as an EDO and a CAO, and he is also someone with a lot of faith. Okay? Not necessarily in religion, but as a diehard Toronto Maple Leaf fan. It is springtime, and yes, there are potholes, just like every year. But I have noticed that Public Works has already started repairing. So let's be patient. They will get to all of them eventually. Next weekend is a long weekend. Finally, time to enjoy the beautiful summer-like weather. And yes, I'll be camping. And just one more thing. Go Leafs, go. They're playing. Okay, thank you. You're up, Brian.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to report on yet. I certainly hope that at some time in the near future I'll have more to say, but I'd just like to say thanks for here. I enjoying my stay. I would love to thank the two members of our staff that were good enough to make sure I got these schemes. And also just genuinely, I will be honest with you, I've been in several municipalities in my life. It's the kindest welcome I ever had. Because at the end of the day, the beer store was closed. And when I wanted to have a beer for my game, I couldn't. But Trish, God bless her. And Aaron both came to the house and sat down and got my TV working and we shared a couple beverages, and I can honestly say, never seemed as welcome. It was like we knew each other for years, but yet I just got through the door. So, but I look forward to the experience. I think it's gonna be a great time here. I grew up in rural Newfoundland. Nothing really scares me weather-wise, anything. So at the end of the day, I'm a little leery with the Black Fly stories, but you know, and yes, I am a diehard Leafs fan, and yes, the last time they won the cup, I was just barely born. And yes, we have to understand that this meeting has to go quickly because game 2 is tonight. But thanks for having me, taking me board, and I have nothing, only good to say so far, because I gotta say, the staff has treated me incredibly well. And certainly I've had a good rapport with the mayor for quite some time, and I just think it's gonna be a great experience. And soon enough, my other half, not soon enough, oh, I know it's not soon, but she will be a part of the community as well, and I think everybody will take her in quite easy. Probably a lot more than middle ever been.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Brian. Now over to business. Moved by Counselor Keo, second by Counselor Kodak, resolved that council is in receipt of administration report TR 2025-02 submitted by Aaron McGregor, treasurer regarding the property tax rebates for charities and nonprofit organizations. Welcome, Mr. McGregor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess we're without microphones tonight, so I'll try to speak loudly. Before you is the report that I prepared associated with this new bylaw. As I mentioned in the report, it is a two-purpose report. So the first piece is that under the Municipal Act, we're required to have a charitable rebate for registered charities that occupy industrial or commercial space. Administration is not aware of any registered charities that operate in Manitowocz, so the need for this bylaw hasn't arisen at this time, but we are required to have it, so it is recommended that we pass the bylaw before council tonight for that piece. The second piece of the report and the bylaw is to provide for a property tax rebate for the Manitowocz Archival and Historical Society. We did have the Manitowocz Historical Society come forward to us and inquire about what avenues are available for the municipality and council to provide assistance with respect to their property taxes. So the bylaw has been prepared such that the rebate that council should choose to provide for this group, the Manitowocz Archival and Historical Society, it's blank. Administration recommends that a rate between 40% and 100% be selected by council. That is left for council to discuss and decide. If any members have questions, I'm happy to take them.
Through the chair, would you be able to narrow down that recommendation a little bit to a more precise number for what your recommendation would be?
So in the financial implications section of the report, I do outline that the 2024 taxation was $3,660. This does not include the water and sewer charges, that's separate. So the budget impact of this would be, if council chose to do a 100% rebate, that would mean that $3,660 would no longer be collected from that roll. So it would have to be collected from other rolls in the community. Essentially, it kind of ties into the impact presentation. The assessment values and how taxation is divided amongst the properties is determined by assessment. So at the end of the day, the municipality will still need to raise the same amount to fund the operation. This would just be a matter of shifting that $3,600 amongst the other properties. It is a very small amount in the context of our budget. We are looking at just south of $4 million in assessment taxation. So the impact would be very small. To answer your question specifically, I do leave it to council to discuss and decide what the percentage is, because I don't have a concern or an issue with anything in that range. It's really a policy decision that is up to council, because you know, how much assistance does council feel is reasonable to provide? It would be hard for me to make a more specific recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Through the chair, my suggestion is to 100% coverage for the museum. It's been an ongoing struggle over the years, and I think we should help them all.
Through the chair, I agree with Councilor Keel. I'm in favor of a 100% for this one. They do fantastic work, and to be honest, they're not bringing in tons of cash, and it's a very minuscule amount that we're losing out here. So I think we can go for 100% of this.
Okay, your thoughts?
Through the chair, I agree with my fellow councilors at 100%.
Through the chair, I am also in agreement at 100%.
Well, then I would say it is unanimous that the Manitowocz Historical Society no longer will pay tax.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and therefore, that council approves a rebate percentage of 100% for the eligible nonprofit groups, which include the Manitowocz Archival and Historical Society. And further, that council adopts the attached property tax rebate for eligible charities and nonprofit organization bylaw. All in favor? Carry. Go. Smile, Gail. Okay, next. Okay, moved by Councillor Ruff, second by Councillor Keel, resolved that council is in receipt of administration report admin 2025-07 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding real estate services contract award. So, yes. I
Thank
would
you
ask.
to the chair. I asked that, CAO McLean clerk the meeting for this portion of the agenda. And I will just step out.
Okay, and
Yep.
you declare conflict also?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And we will turn it over to outgoing CAO Florence McLean.
Great, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. On March 31st, we submitted a call for proposals for real estate services to seek a real estate agent to manage our properties that are declared surplus and for sale, whether it's a vacant lot or a residential property. In the past, we had one real estate agent, and so it made it very easy who we were going to work with. But we now have 4 real estate agents in Manitowoc. And so we wanted to put out the call for proposals to make it a fair, open, and transparent process on who would represent the township with these properties. So we submitted the call for proposals, as I said, on March 31st. We sent emails to the 4 real estate agents. We posted the information on our Facebook site and also on our website. I did receive responses back from 3 of the 4 individuals, and we received 1 proposal that was received prior to the deadline. And so my recommendation is to award the contract to both Asia Keogh and Laren Bartley, who represent Remax Generations Realty, for a 2-year period effective tomorrow, May 8th. And that within our call for proposals, we also indicated that there could be an extension to this depending on how the services were. So as it stands, if council approves this contract award, it would be in effect for 2 years until May of 2027. Are there any questions?
Any questions? No, I'd say I went over it and I say it's fair and I have no issues with it, so no questions. I'd say we award it to the only people that submitted. Anything to add, or is that good?
No, that's good.
Okay, perfect. And further, that council awards the contract to Real Estate Services jointly to Asia Keogh and Lauren Bartley of Remax Generation Realty for a 2-year period effective May 8th, 2025. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Welcome back. Moved by Councillor Cottick, second by Councillor Ruff. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report admin 2025-08 submitted by Chelsea Keogh, Executive Assistant regarding Joint Health and Safety Committee appointment. Welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you, through the chair. Currently, there's a non-union staff vacancy on the Joint Health and Safety Committee. Cindy Fairbrother has expressed interest in the vacancy and was selected by staff to be their representative. We're requesting council's approval to formally appoint her to the committee.
Thank you. Any questions? Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and further that council appoints Cindy Fairbrothers, non-union staff representative to the Joint Health and Safety Committee. All in favor? Carried. Where we at now? Okay, Amo. Okay, moved by Councillor Keogh, second by Councillor Cottick. Resolved that council requests delegations for the following ministers at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO. 2025 conference. And that will be held in August in Ottawa. And I'm attending. Who else? Tony Lynn and Brian. Okay. So I would suggest that we meet with the Minister of Sports, find an update on our request for the ski hill. Minister of Transport to ask again if we can get the 614 refurbished. Anybody else have any?
You took my two.
Sorry. Any,
Through the chair, maybe, look at the LNG, that's possible. Minister of Energy.
Energy, yeah. The only problem with that, to be honest, is Marathon is actually the initiative on that. Okay. So we're supporting communities. So that's something that we can definitely check with Marathon, Trzynski, what's his name? Yeah. And follow up with him and Mayor Dumas and see if they want to, because if they do, then I will definitely be part of that. Or,
For.
oh, yes, yes, for sure. Okay, yeah, so, Minister of Natural Resources to inquire with them on the situation at White Lake about the poacher and how they can help us support the area and to keep the poachers away.
Through the chair, were you planning on inviting neighboring mayors to that
Yes,
delegation as
for
well?
sure.
So
Yeah,
Mayor Hart and
yeah, if we get the delegations, then I'm going to ask the surrounding mayors and or chiefs who is going to AMO and definitely invite them in. Number one being Chief Wiswah.
absolutely. I just wasn't sure
Yeah,
if
thanks
chiefs
for the
were
reminder.
attending AMO or if it was just municipalities.
Yeah, I'm sure that he can. Is there anybody else that we should send a request to? Any thoughts, Brian? You,
But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know who's early, but I think it's something that we don't have a whole lot on the plate now, but I think that's something we're going to probably be pursuing. And so I think that it might be an idea to, if we have some thoughts that we can get around some of the things that we would like to see done. One of the things that I've seen here is there's a lot to do with trail development in the area. And a lot of it's being done at the cost of the municipality, which I'm fundamentally against. I like the municipality paying some money, but I like the feds and province to ante up as well. So I think that we should amend the year just because we are there.
Through the chair, so we are permitted to put in a delegation request for up to 3 ministers.
Oh, okay.
However, the Minister of Sport, maybe they might be able to also address that.
Okay, so, yeah, so if we get a delegation of them, we can definitely add that to our presentation. So, okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, there's a reading. Okay, so council request delegations with the following ministers at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario 2025 conference. The Minister of Sport, the Minister of Transportation, and the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry. All in favor? Carried. That was 4 because you have 4 lines here. Okay. Moved by Councillor Ruff, second by Councillor Keogh. Being a bylaw to appoint a chief administrative officer be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2025-18. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Kotick, second by Councillor Ruff, being a bylaw to appoint a Community Emergency Management Coordinator, the CEMC for the Township of Manitouwadge be read a first and second time. Furthermore, be ready third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2025-19. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Keo, seconded by Counselor Kodak. Being a bylaw to provide a property tax rebate for eligible charities and nonprofit organizations. Be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2025-20. All in favor? Carried. Okay, no motions, closed session. Moved by Counselor Kodak, second by Counselor Ruff. Whereas section 239(4) of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 C provides that before holding a meeting or part of a meeting that is to be closed to the public, a municipality or local board or committee of either of them shall state by resolution the fact of holding of the closed meeting and the general nature of the matter to be considered at the closed meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that this meeting is hereby closed to the public as the subject matter being discussed falls under the following sections. Section 239(2)(f), advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communication necessary for that purpose, legal matters. All in favor? Carried.